Friends, as we approach the conclusion of this liturgical year, which the Church in the Philippines dedicated to the charism and mission of the laity, we thought it fitting to present to you some lay people who have gone ahead of us and have shown that it is truly possible to become saints and heroes. The Church has been teaching us that the lay people, by the grace of baptism and confirmation, are made sharers in the mission of Christ, and that their unique vocation as lay people comes from God Himself. Pope Francis underlines this in a conference held at the Pontifical Lateran University earlier this year, saying, "The lay people are protagonists in the work of evangelization and human promotion." He adds, incorporated in the Church, each member of the people of God is inseparably a disciple and a missionary. In fact, my dear friends, if we look back, there are several lay people who had been called and who had played significant roles in God's revelation and the spread of His message and kingdom here on earth. We have the patriarchs, prophets, and kings included in this roster. But let us not go that far. We could look at the Blessed Virgin Mary, Saint Joseph, Saint John the Baptist, all of them lay people. But some might comment, well, Cardinal, these three were, privileged in some ways, for they were called by God for special missions. Well, my dear friends, the Scripture tells us that God indeed calls each of us. "I have called you by name," He said. We only need to be attentive and open to His calling, just like these people, just like these lay people. Saint Louie of France was king from 1226 to 1270. His life tells us that power is not only about acquiring territories and wealth. During his reign, he brought back justice and peace in his kingdom and decreed the promotion of Christian values. It is said that he regularly dined with the poor, whom he treated as special guests. He was even called the ideal Christian monarch. Saint Elizabeth of Hungary was a princess and wife of Landgrave Louis IV. She was an early symbol of Christian charity. When she was widowed, she intensified her service to the poor. She attended to them personally and spun wool for their clothing. We learn from her that one who has received much more than the others ought to share with those in need. Now, from monarchs, we move to intellectuals, Saints Thomas More and Catherine of Siena. Saint Thomas More served as Lord Chancellor to King Henry VIII from 1529 to 1532. He was a statesman, lawyer, philosopher, humanist, and author. The saint remained a faithful son of the Catholic Church when the king separated from it in order to have his marriage to Catherine annulled, so he could marry Anne Boleyn. His final word at his execution captures the important lesson we can learn from him. He said, "I am the king's good servant, but God's first." Faith and integrity come hand in hand. Meanwhile, Saint Catherine of Siena only learned to read and write when she reached adulthood. But what a gift she had! People of all ranks sought her counsel, and today, her writings are considered gems of spiritual literature, and to date, she is one of the women doctors of the Church. What is more, she worked for peace among papal states and was instrumental to the return of the papacy to Rome in 1377 from its exile in Avignon for more than 6 decades. Let us learn from her courage in mission and in pursuing unity in the church. She addresses us, especially the lay people like her. Be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire. What are we waiting for? God desires us to be His mouthpiece. Let us set the world on fire with our testimony. Aside from them, there was also Saint Isidore, who was a farmer, and Saint Peter Wu, who was a businessman. Saint Isidore reminds us that one is never too busy to spend time with the Lord and to value the dignity of work. He heard Mass every day before going to work at the farm. He and his wife Maria always had soup ready should the poor knock on their door. Now, Saint Peter Wu was one of the first Christian converts in China. It is said that he enthusiastically preached the faith to anyone who came to the hotel he owned and personally ran. He actually became a lay leader of the converts in their area. When he was detained during a period of persecution in 1814, he continued to lead prayer services in their cells. He was sentenced to death for refusing to step on the crucifix. He teaches us to cling to the faith in spite of persecution. There you go, brothers and sisters. I hope you find inspiration in these lay people. We will introduce some more next week.